Hello, Namaskar and a very good afternoon to everyone watching NCERT's live interactive program. I am Simran Singh and you have all connected with us through eVidya channel number 6 to 12. Besides this, there are so many different mediums through which you can all connect with us. You can even participate in our live conversations by raising your questions and your queries in the comment section of our YouTube channel that goes by the name NCERT Official. And once again, a very warm welcome to all our learners in this particular training segment. Well, it's the third day of our online training program for the title Elevating Teaching Learning Dynamics on DIKSHA. So here we are actually discussing on enhancing the process of teaching and learning, and we are discussing the different aspects associated with DIKSHA. Well, it's the third day of our online training program and the topic of discussion for today is Unlocking Educational Synergy, DIKSHA and Google Classroom. So we are conducting this particular webinar for all of you. NCERT in collaboration with Google for Education, and the objectives being to train educators on Google Classroom integration in the DIKSHA platform, also helping the educators in leveraging DIKSHA content in the Google Classroom. So as I just informed you that it's the third day of our online training segment, so let's quickly have a look at the website of CIET in order to understand more about this 5 days online training session. So the website is www.ciet.ncert.gov.in. So there are numerous options available for you. Just click on activities, and the third last would be workshop/training. Once we scroll down, and you'll be able to see that from 17th till 21st of June 2024, we are having this particular training segment for all of you, Elevating Teaching Learning Dynamics on DIKSHA. So let's scroll down, and this is the detailed banner of the 5 days online training program. On day 1, that is on 17th of June, we discussed about DIKSHA's homepage and its navigation. On the second day, the area of discussion revolved around demystifying focus areas of DIKSHA. Today it's the third day, 19th of June 2024, and the topic for this program is Unlocking Educational Synergy, DIKSHA and Google Classroom. On day 4th, that is tomorrow, we are going to discuss more on leveraging CollabGeo tool in teaching geometry on DIKSHA. The 5th and the concluding day is 21st of June 2024, and the topic will be using OS ticketing tool to raise concerns on DIKSHA. Now, this particular detail over here is with regard to the assessment that we have for all of you regarding our 5 days online training program. So whether it's the students, teacher educators, learners, you can all connect with us in our 5 days online training program, and you can all participate in our post session activity, that is the assessment. So here you can see that it's a detailed program schedule regarding the name of the resource persons, the title of the programs, and we try our best to upload the video links and the presentation links for the better understanding of our viewers. So let's scroll down and get to know more about how you all can participate or access the assessment. Step number 1 is registration. So you have to register yourself by clicking on this link or either by scanning the QR code. Step number 2, watch live sessions and learn more about this particular topic. Regularly from 17th till 21st of June, we are here with all of you discussing more about the different aspects of DIKSHA, that is elevating teaching learning dynamics on DIKSHA. And viewers, step number 3 is take up the online course, participate in the post assessment and get certified. And if you score 70% and above in the final assessment, you will also get a certificate. You can access the certificate in your DIKSHA profile page itself. So viewers, we keep on saying that your feedback matters a lot to us, so keep on writing to us. Also, you can share your feedback with the help of this feedback form, that is by scanning the QR code or by clicking on this link. Apart from that, let me also apprise you that you can connect with us. You can give us a call at this contact number, that is 8800440559. And for this particular training segment, if you have any of the questions in mind, you can raise your questions at this mail ID, that is training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. Well, this were the details about our training program. So let me introduce you to our panel for today's program. We have with us Professor Indu Kumar, Head at DICT and TD from CIT NCERT, New Delhi. Namaskar, ma'am. A very warm welcome to you.
Thank you.
Then we also have our team for Google for Education, Mr. Hemant Bhalla, Workspace, GTM and Chrome OS Product Partnerships Manager, Google for Education from Haryana. Welcome, sir.
Namaskar. Thank you.
Then our last panelist in the conversation, Ms. Sonia Mehra Agrawal, Community Manager, Google for Education from Gurgaon, Haryana. A very warm welcome to all our panelists and a warm welcome to all our learners who have connected in this particular third day of our online training program. So without further ado, let's begin our conversation. And in the first place, Professor Indu, I would request you to share more details on how this integration of Google Classroom in the DIKSHA will be beneficial for all the stakeholders of education.
Thank you for the question. This is a very basic and a very valid question. Let me put the question in the context. From the last 2 days, we are discussing about what DIKSHA is all about, what is carries, who are the stakeholders, how to navigate the newer version of DIKSHA, which has a better look and feel, as we had already discussed. And also we discussed the focus areas of DIKSHA. What are the focus areas of DIKSHA as per NEP 2020, and what new we are doing on DIKSHA to make this platform a better platform, and also attract more users to it. As of now, as I can say, we have around 1.70 crore active users on DIKSHA. Apart from this, daily active users on DIKSHA are 1.83 crore. Apart from this, there are around 3,51,000, more than 3,51,000 contents are there on DIKSHA, which are aligned to curriculum and textbooks or of various grades and various levels. So this is the kind of content which are there. So it is a repository of content, and we are also using it for the continuous professional development of teachers. So during the time of pandemic, as we had already discussed, that it got a huge response from the users, be it teachers or be it students. So to make the uses of DIKSHA and to popularize the uses of DIKSHA, we are also partnering with ecosystem partners who are already there working in the same direction to make the quality of education and educational experience more meaningful for these students. So Google is a ecosystem partner with us, and Google Classroom is something which many teachers, a lot of teachers in the entire country are using. If the experience of Google Classroom can be enhanced with the content which are already there on DIKSHA, so it will be a better opportunities for the users of DIKSHA as well as for the users of Google Classroom. So yesterday we also discussed how to access content on DIKSHA, how to download content, how to share content, how to print content directly from the portal, and we all know that all these contents are under Creative Commons licensing policy and free to be used for teachers. So by integration, Google Classroom integration with DIKSHA, if we click on to the share button, which we demonstrated yesterday, and the resource person will be demonstrating it today also, we get a link and also an option to share in Google Classroom. So by clicking on the Google Classroom, if a teacher is using Google Classroom and she is accessing or watching content on DIKSHA, so she can find relevant content and can share that content with the users of Google Classroom, so that it reaches the students who are there in the classroom. She can use it in any which manner she wants to use it. We all know the idea of the idea of flipped learning and also blended learning. So it also catered to the concept of flipped learning. If a teacher shares a relevant content on a specific topic in Google Classrooms and ask her students to go through the content and come prepared by watching that content for the topic which is in question. So that way we can flip the learning experience. A student has already watched the content which is assigned to the students, then she or he can come prepared in the class, and the classroom time can be utilized in a better manner, having discussions around that specific content. So, like that, by integrating Google Classroom, we are linking the classroom experience with the digital environment which is created in DIKSHA, by having a lot of content and by integrating Google Classroom into it. So, how to use that facility is something which we are going to discuss at length today. And as Simran has already introduced you to the two resource persons from Google, Hemant and Sonia. They will take you through the entire experience, how to use this facility to create a better learning experience in the classroom by sharing meaningful content, pooling from DIKSHA in the Google Classroom. So, with that I would like to hand over to the resource persons who are there.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for initiating the conversation for all of us. And I believe, viewers, you can comment your questions with us, and you can also try your hands at this particular Google Classroom that we are discussing about this integration. So, let me also quickly take you through different comments that we have in the comment section. Well, a lot of viewers are asking us about our training program and also the certification. Well, certification details will be provided to you at the end of this program, and as I just apprised you that you will receive certificates once you score over 70% in the assessment, and the assessment link will be uploaded on the 5th day of the online training program when we are going to conclude this program. So, discussing at length about Google Classroom, what is it, how you can use it. For that we have our resource persons from Google. So, I would like to invite Hemant sir in the conversation, and sir, please let us know more about Google Classroom.
Yeah, thanks Simran. First off, a really warm welcome to everybody. Namaskar. Just glad to be here with all of you. To begin with, just a big thank you to the entire team at NCRT, DIKSHA and DIC for collaborating with Google for Education to make this integration possible. The purpose of this integration is to provide easy access to DIKSHA's high quality, multilingual, multi-format content to all of the users at Google Classroom, and then essentially ensure that the millions of users that we have independently on Google Classroom and on DIKSHA are able to leverage the strengths of each other's platform. I've got my colleague here with me who's going to be sharing a demo of what we have and how this integration can be used on a daily basis. So over to you, Sonia.
Thank you, Hemant. Alright, so just like Hemant mentioned, we are here to explore the synergy that's been built between Google Classroom and DIKSHA, and how can we take the e-content that's available to us on DIKSHA directly into Google Classroom and use that effectively with our learners in the classroom. We have thousands of users today, educators today, both from government schools and private schools, who are very familiar with Google tools and the interface of Google Classroom, because they're practicing that every day. But I'm sure a lot of you who would join us today may not have exposure to Google tools yet, or would not have experienced Google Classroom in practice. So let's begin with understanding some basics of Google Classroom. How do you work in it, where do you find it, and how can you create a class, add your students to it, and then let's move into creating content that can be used in the classroom with learners. And for the purpose of today's session, I will be a grade 6 science teacher, so I will be exploring grade 6 science content, e-content on a DIKSHA platform. So let's begin with signing in Gmail using Google Workspace account that's been given to me by my school, and I'm logged into my account here. Now, if you see right here on the top panel, you will see these 9 dots, or what we call as the waffle button. When you click this, you see the productivity suites that are available with Google Workspace, and also can spot Google Classroom. And I am going to click on this and move into Google Classroom and begin my work of engaging with my students. Since I am a regular user, I already have a few classes created for my students and different grades that I teach. But let's say we were to create a new class, vacations are getting over, at some places it's already over, we want to maybe begin a new class with my students and begin some work and activity there. So, I am going to click on this plus button which is given on the top panel on the right side and choose the option of create class. When I choose this, I am given these options. So, for today I am going to be a grade 6 science teacher. Maybe I teach section A. I could create separate classes for separate grades or for separate sections, or have 2 or 3 sections combined together depending on the ease of use that you have built in your system. And this is science right here, and I am going to create this class. So, the minute this class is created, it will be available and visible on my interface and it will be ready to use right here. You can see that this grade is ready, but it is yet not populated with people. I do not have co-teachers or students added here. So, I am going to take you to a class which I had already created for the purpose of the demo today. And if you see on the left hand side panel, there is a section on home which I am going to use right here and use this class that has been created for today. Now, when I go there and I will go directly into people, there are many options that we can explore here. Sometimes we have co-teachers in our classroom in the subjects that we teach or across the grades that we teach. This section here of teachers allows you to add a co-teacher or a teacher teaching a similar subject in the same class but with different grades. We use this option right here to invite those teachers either by taking the link or adding their email ID. And I already have a teacher added here as a co-teacher. When she is added here or he is added here, they will have equal rights as the teacher throughout the classroom, which means they can add, edit, review any piece of content that is available here in the classroom. Now, to add students in my class, I can again use this section here to invite students using a link or just add their email IDs one by one. If I do not want to do that and maybe I just want to send one common message to everybody, I move into stream section here. I scroll down and I see a class code mentioned on the left side. When you see this, all you have to do is to take this class code, send it to your students who have Google Workspace IDs given by your school and make them a part of my class and populate them right here in the section. For today, I have 6 students in my class. Now, I'll move to classwork. This is the place I always say where all the action happens. And if you see that I've already created some content here for maths grade 9 for chapter circles, which was already published or released for my students. So, it was already in practice and this is what it looks like. And now if I were to talk about grade 6 science, maybe I was in a place where I wanted to plan in advance some of the topics that I want to teach in the classroom. So, what I did, instead of posting it and releasing it to my students, I had added everything in drafts. So, today we will go directly into DIKSHA platform after this and learn how to take the material that's available there and move that into Google Classroom. So, first thing first, let me create a topic. So, I am going to click on this and create a topic for which I am now planning a session flow. So, for me it's chapter 1, where does food come from, and I am going to add that here because all the session flow that I am going to plan will be under this chapter. So, I am moving into the home page, onto the home page of DIKSHA. I scroll down and the first thing that I want to do is to add a digital textbook. So, I want to make sure that the textbook of grade 6 is available to my students to be used and to be practiced in the classroom, and I have it right here. So, what I did was in the filters I had selected grade 6 English medium, NCERT, science textbook, and this is what I was presented with. Now, if you see on the yellow banner right here, there is a share option. If I select this share option, I am given two possibilities, share with Google Classroom or copy link. But if I use this share option, the entire content that's available in new science textbook will be shared with my students. But what I want to do is, I want to take only this content directly into my Google Classroom. So, I will scroll down and we see here right next to chapter 1 food, where does it come from, there is another share to option. I click on this. Now, I use share with Google Classroom option. Now, when I do that, I am directed towards this page. Before I decide which class I want to share this with, I have to check the ID I am logged in with. Sometimes it happens on our devices that we are logged in with multiple IDs, but we want to make sure this content is taken into our Google Workspace ID, where my students are already a part of that classroom. So, after you've selected which class this is, which ID you're using, we'll move on to choosing the class. So, for today I am choosing this class, and then it asks you to choose the action. You can create an assignment of the content that is being shared, you can ask a question, make an announcement, or create material. Because I am taking the digital textbook to my class, I am going to create material and I am taking this into my class. So, I am going to label this as chapter 1 food, and I am going to leave a note for my student which says, please refer to this textbook throughout this chapter and the discussions to follow. Now, if I go on the right side, it asks me who is it for. So, I have already selected the class that I am sharing it with. I could be a teacher of multiple grades and multiple grades and sections, and if I want to take the same piece of content there, I could choose wherever else I want to take this. And this is to be made available for all students. Now, an important step is to choose the topic. So, the topic that I had created was where does food come from, and I am going to post this for my students to view and review in the class, and we will just shortly see how it appears and how the announcement is made. Now, I am going to scroll down. Now, we are right here on stream page, you will see first thing here, it's announced as a new material being shared, and this is how I had shared it, and I wanted it to be made available to my students. An announcement is also sent on email IDs of students that have been provided in this classroom, and they also get like an update there which says new content has been posted. And right here we created a chapter and the textbook is right here to be used. Now, I am going to go back to my chapter on DIKSHA platform and continue planning for my content. Alright, so next what I want to do is I want to take this particular video and I want to take this into my class, and I want to make sure my students are able to view this video and also able to work on this. So, since I have already gone through this material before, I am aware that this works really well for my students. Okay, let us see the video and see the content that we have available here. Like I had mentioned, I know that this content is relevant to the flow of my topic. So, I am going to now take this into my classroom. I am again going to choose the share option, share with Google Classroom. Before I take it into the class, I am going to check whether I am logged into the right account, choose the class and decide what I want to do. Now, what I want to do this time is create an assignment. So, I am going to create an assignment here and it will show me a different option. So, this is assignment 1. Now, what I want children to do is watch the video and create a list of ingredients used to prepare your favorite dish. If I see on the right side, now I have more options. What do I do? Do I want this to be posted immediately? Do I want a due date? No, I don't want a due date. This can be open for everyone to continue working on, but I am going to choose the right topic so that it is presented at the right place. I don't want this to be marked, it is going to be an unmarked assignment, and this is posted. This assignment is now available for my students to work on, and I can click on view and see where it is taking me and how it will be visible to my students. Right here, it has been posted. Assignment 1 is now available for my students to view and to work on. Now I go back to DIKSHA and pick up the next content that I want to take. Now while we are working on this, I am going to take this content into my classroom and share this. This is again a video where we talk about what do we eat. I share this in my classroom, check the account I am logged into, choose the class, and this time I want to ask them a question. I want a discussion to happen with the question that I am going to pose them. And let's hear you out. Why is water important to us? Can you list 3 places where water is used? And now for this I want a due date, right? I want them to complete this maybe by tomorrow, because I want this discussion to happen in my classroom. So I am taking this into a due date mode, and I want submissions to be closed after due date. You may keep this open for everyone to continue working, but for my purpose of the flow, I want this to be closed, and I select the right topic. I don't want this to be marked. Now if I scroll further, when you ask a question, you have these 2 options to choose from. Do you want students to be able to reply to each other, or do you want students can edit answer? For this particular question, I don't want them to be able to do either, and I am going to ask this question, and this will again be posted in Google Classroom, available for them to work on. What happens when we choose a due date? So even if there are students who are submitting later than the due date, it says late submission, but they can continue to work on it, they can still continue to submit their work, and it will be available right here for me to view and to work on. All right, let's see. Yes, it's available, it's been posted, and I'm going to go to classwork, and it's now available for my students to work on. Right. Now similarly, what I want to do next is to be able to create an individual task which I want them to work on, and take that up in my classroom. All right, and I'm going to talk about food items and their ingredients. So I'm going to share this again, share this video in Google Classroom, and this time create an assignment, but maybe I am not too sure of what I would like to maybe work on this assignment. So I am going to leave this in draft and maybe work on this later. This is my second assignment, and I think what I want them to do is watch the video, refer to assignment 1 and mark all the ingredients as plant product, animal product or milk product. I have decided that it is going to go to my the same topic, and maybe I will mark it, unmark it. This is something I want to decide later, but I really like the video and hence I want this discussion to happen. So, if you see next to assign is a drop down which says assign, schedule or save draft. So, I want to save this as a draft and work on this later. What happens is sometimes as a teacher we have a lot of questions we have in mind or a flow that we want to take into the class, but sometimes we want to hold on to it and see when is the right point of taking that into the classroom. So, this draft option helps me create material beforehand and take that into the classroom as and when I feel is the right time to take it up, right, and it will be available now in the classroom as draft. See, it's right here. And now what I want to do is I want to edit this and take this into my classroom. So, when I edit this and I want to take this in my classroom, what I want to do is I want them to answer this on a doc. I want individual submissions of this and I want them to be able to express themselves using a separate doc for each one of them. This is assignment 2. And I can, what I have decided to do is I am going to take the same question and paste it here. All right. Now, if I see here it says student can view the file, but since I want this to be individual work, I want each child to be able to make a copy for themselves and submit this. And I am going to mark this for 5 marks. So, this is a 5-mark assignment for me and I am taking this into my classroom with a due date, because this is a marked assignment. I want this to be submitted by a certain date and I am done. So, I am going to assign this and this would be immediately available for the students to view and to work on. Now, while this is being done and while we see, and it is right here, what I have decided to do is that once the students have maybe completed this assignment, I want them to be able to self-assess and understand where do they stand in terms of their understanding of this chapter, and will be able to discuss this in the classroom. So, when I scroll down here on the right side, there are practice items given. I want to take up this very short answer quiz available and I want to take this to my students. This is a self-assessment I want them to practice on. So, again I will check my account, I will check the class and I will post this as an assignment. If I go here, this is self-assessment. So, my objective is very clear to the students and I am going to write watch, practice the questions to be discussed in the class. Now, there is most definitely a due date for this, but I do not want them to have visibility into this assignment yet. I do not want them to have visibility into this assessment. It is unmarked. So, what I am going to do is I am going to schedule this. Again, when I go on this top right panel, next to assign is a drop down button. I schedule it and since it is due on the 25th and I am only going to teach this maybe tomorrow, this should be made available to them tomorrow and schedule. Now, what this does is that maybe my class is planned for 11 AM in the school and I want certain material to only be made available to my students after a certain discussion I have had with them. So, this feature helps me take advantage of doing that I can announce it in the class that there is a self-assessment quiz available. View that, attempt that and let us discuss it on Tuesday or Monday whenever the next class is. And this is how it will appear. If you see, it says self-assessment scheduled for 21st of June to be completed by 8 AM. Now, see, we have already taken a lot of e-content that's available to us. Now what I want to do additionally, support all of that with a practice quiz, a functionality that's available to us in Google Classroom, and I want to do that because I want to support the flow that I'm creating right now. So this is my assignment 3. And there are many options that I could choose from. I could take up a YouTube video, add questions there, there's practice sets, there are add-ons, but for today's session, I am going to add a practice set. I already have it created and I'm going to show you how that appears and how it appears in my resources. If you see here on the interface, when we go to home, there is this section of resources. In resources, we already I have a lot of these material created and I am going to use this particular practice set in my classroom with my students. Now when I open this, since I have already created it, it appears like this, but I want to be able to edit it. When I choose that option, I can rework on the questions that I have created. I can try this as a student, so I can see how this would appear to a student while attempting the questions. I can also share this with a fellow teacher. Maybe they're also teaching the same subject in another section, or we are co-teachers, or I just want them to review this and share their feedback. Now what practice set does it, when you add questions which you're interested in, it allows you to also add hints that would be provided to students while they're trying to attempt this. Now if you see this, I've already added 2 video hints which were most relevant, and I've also added a hint wherein I have asked them to refer to a certain page number in the book that I had added initially as material for my students. So textbook was already made available to them and I want it like this. Now if you see all the questions, I have selected the right answer so that they know their right answers after they have attempted the quiz. And I am going to finish editing this. And I am going to attach this in my class. So I am taking this into my class and it says attach. I am doing that and it will appear in my classroom. So attempt the practice questions for a discussion during the next period. I'll choose the topic and there are no marks assigned to this, and this would be available for my students to do. Now I realized while working on this topic that this is a good flow that's been created for my topic, and I want to end this with a project which I had already created, and I also want to do a lab activity. So for the final assignment, I had already created a draft. I'm going to edit this and take you into this. So what I did, I've already created a final assignment which is an individual and a group project wherein I've added 2 tasks for them. They will have to first go through the video which will help them attempt the 2 tasks. Project 1 is an individual assignment wherein they create a presentation of 5 different food items available in their fridge, and the second one is a group project wherein they add slides about pre-packed food items and the date of expiry that they have. And what I've already done is I've created this for them. If you see the first section here of project 1 individual, I've made a copy of this for each student. So whenever a child tries to access this, a copy of this will be created for them to work on. I've already added instructions, I've told them what I want them to do so that they can then continue working on this. Now if I go back and I see project 2, which is a group assignment, here they can edit the file, and what I've done is maybe in the class I had already grouped them so they know which group they are a part of, and they have to take this up and work in their groups in this slide. and I have created group number 1, group 2, and they will only be allowed to work on their slides because they already know the groups that they are a part of. So I have done both of this. This is going to be a 20-mark assignment for me, and I am going to publish this. I have chosen a due date and this will be closed after submissions. So I am going to assign this for them. And the last thing that I want to do with the flow of my session is to add a lab activity, because that's how I feel my chapter will come to a full closure with that activity, and I already have that created. So let's do this, and I have taken this from virtual labs in DIKSHA directly. If you're on the home page of DIKSHA, when you scroll down, it's available right here for you to access. And this is exactly what I've done. I've chosen grade 6 virtual labs for science, and I have taken up content from there, which is available right here. What I want to do is I've taken this into my class with the share with Google Classroom option, and I have already pre-created, I have a pre-created activity for them. I want them to observe the activity which is given through the video attached and write down your observations in the lab file. Some of you would like to maybe share a document and you would want them to work on a Google Doc. That is also possible, or you ask them to write their observations in the lab file. By mistake, I had added this as a 10-point assignment. I don't want to mark this, so I've changed this. And there is a due date because I want to close the chapter with this discussion, but there is no closing submissions after due date. And this would be, I'm going to schedule this, it will only be made available to them on the 21st, and this is scheduled. Now what I did throughout planning of my chapter was I chose Google Classroom as a place for me to structure the e-content, verified multilingual e-content that's available to me, and build on it in a manner that is most suitable in my classroom, that is most suitable with my students, and the way I would want to progress in my classroom. And this is how I would like to end my chapter and the flow of the session.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for apprising us about these important details. We also have few questions from our viewers, if you allow.
Absolutely.
Well, the first question would be, can students access DIKSHA content directly on the Google Classroom?
Yes, so they will just need a workspace ID, and then they can go onto the DIKSHA platform like Sonia was showing. From there, they can select the chapter, the grade and the chapter that they want. Click share, the top one if they want to share the entire textbook, and the share button at the bottom if they want to share a specific chapter, and they'll get access to it. They will just need to be logged into their Google Classroom account.
Okay, so while discussing about the process of logging in, so if a teacher already has got an account in DIKSHA and has been using or accessing the content on DIKSHA, would he or she require another account in order to connect to the Google Classroom with DIKSHA?
Yes, they'll need something called a Workspace for Education account. So Workspace is a collection of applications. Google Classroom is one of the applications within Workspace. You've got Gmail, Google Docs, Sheets, Slides, the admin console. All of these applications together are called Google Workspace for Education. So they'll need a Workspace for Education account which is given at the school level. So they can reach out to their school or their district. For example, if it's a government school, then they can apply for a Workspace for Education account and then get access to Google Classroom.
Thank you. So what happens when someone clicks share to classroom and they see the prompt no class found? Why does this happen?
So, I tried to show this during the demonstration also. The first step to that, once you've selected a piece of content from DIKSHA and you want to take that into classroom and you've selected share with Google Classroom, is check the account that you're using. It should be the account where you've already added a class, your students are already added into it, and then take that up in the classroom.
So suppose if a teacher wants to schedule an assignment for a particular day, say Tuesdays, and they want to release this assignment every Tuesday for the students. Is that possible?
Absolutely. So when you're creating an assignment, if you go on the top right hand side of the panel, you will see an assign button, and next to that is a drop down which allows you to save it as a draft, assign it immediately, or schedule it as per your comfort or the date choice that you have. You want it to be maybe released on a Tuesday at 12 p.m. So you can go ahead and do that.
All right. And can students get notifications of whatever assignments or the new projects are being uploaded by the teachers on the platform?
Yes, absolutely. So once a new content has been posted into Classroom, information about that is posted on stream and also sent to them through emails on their official IDs that have been provided by the school.
Of course. Well, thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing all these details with all our viewers. Now it's time to wrap up this particular program for all our learners. Thank you, Professor Indu Kumar. Thank you, Mr. Hemant Bhallaji. Thank you, Miss Sonia Mehra. Thanks a lot. Thank you to all the viewers who have connected with CIT NCERT in order to discuss more about unlocking educational synergy, DIKSHA and Google Classroom. Well, this is an end to the third day of our online training program on elevating teaching learning dynamics on DIKSHA. And once again, let me apprise you that once we conclude our 5 days online training program for all of you, we also have an assessment link that you all can access, and if you score over 70% in that particular assessment, you'll also receive a certificate from CIT NCERT. Today we were discussing about unlocking educational synergy, DIKSHA and Google Classroom. Tomorrow it's going to be the 4th day of our online training program, and the topic of discussion would be leveraging Collab Geo tool in teaching geometry on DIKSHA. And again, I would like to emphasize the point that if you have any of the questions, any queries, so feel free to connect with us either in the comment section of our YouTube channel, that's NCERT Official, or give us a call at this contact number flashing on your screens, 8800440559. Also, you can reach out to us through a particular mail ID for training segments. It is training@ciet.nic.in. Thank you once again for connecting with us, and we are wrapping this discussion here itself. But tomorrow also at the same time from 4 till 5 p.m. we will be back with the 4th day of our online training program. And hereby in the next segment we have our Sahyog program that is aimed at providing psychosocial support and enhancing the mental well-being for all our learners and the audiences. So stay connected, keep watching Evidya channels, and take very good care of yourself, and do not forget to tune in tomorrow for the same program. Namaskar.